Alright, so this is my town called Two Rivers. Basically, it's a western town built in between two rivers, and the only way to get to it is by train. And there's a bunch of plot and stuff that allows me to build up and stuff. But mainly it's so that the town can be built very linearly between these two rivers, and gives for some nice gameplay. I have it already all designed. I'm just now fleshing it out. This took me about 2 or 3 days to make, and everything you're going to see here is made by me, except for the untextured objects. The untextured objects are made by my friend Jessica, who's not in the advanced level design class I'm in right now. But everything else is completely made by me, by modular pieces and whatnot. And the initial idea for the first objective, but the only one that's fleshed out right now, is a combination of Alex Mers and me, mostly her, but the actual map built around the first objective is pretty much my doing, but we're kind of working on a design together, and we'll see how that goes. But alright, so you arrive in this train. This train's going to pull in. You're going to get a briefing while you're pulling in. I can get the defense team time to set up, and you walk out, and you'll see that you are. First thing you're going to see is this is the town. Now, this is not only the front part of the town, this is the only part that's built. There will be more buildings in the back and whatnot. But you'll see that you start out and you're kind of in this train terminal thing here. It's pretty cool. Now, the story is that this front rail here is under construction, and they're building up a rail to go across one of the rivers on the other side. And that this back one's working, but it's only, because there's only one rail on this side, it can only go forward. So the only way, the opposite direction out of this town, is the other train station on the other side. That's why they're constructing this new railroad, so they can go both ways on both sides. But that leads to the gameplay element where the assault team can ride this train in, they have to push forward and get through a series of objectives, and they have to basically try to escape on the other train on the opposing side of town. So that's going to give a really nice gameplay flow, and we'll see how that goes. Now everything's already, first part, it's already cluttered up, so you can't get on the other side of these blocks. Basically you can't leave the map area. This train's not textured, but it's a really big train, but I think it's kind of cool, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Now, as you can see, more cluttered thing. And because this railway is under construction, kind of gives a reason for why these crates are there. I mean, they have tools and stuff inside. Now, I've already basically done some basic clutter. Well, it's not really clutter, it's more like ways to take cover and things like that I blocked out. There's a really big barrel, it's not textured, but yeah, so you got these little ways to take cover from, and the enemy team is going to be able to get up on that little awning through all these little things on this barricade here, and they're going to be able to come up and over the barricade and take cover behind like this. So that team's going to be spawning over here, this team's going to be over here like this, and they're defending this barricade here. Now, in the middle there's this windmill. It's going to have a big sign on it. This is welcome to Two Rivers. But this barricade is pretty cool because this windmill is pretty solid. That's kind of stuck there. It's metal. It's going to stay there. But on both sides of these, this is the first objective. The first objective is once you get out of the train, you're supposed to destroy either of these barricades. Now, I've already gone ahead and made some custom code so that it is all done without Kismet, so that way it can be implemented into a really cool custom game mode where it's going to have like objective tracking and things like that, all through Unreal Script, no Kismet. So you'll see that I'm using Lincoln right now. That's just because I loaded this up in Deathmatch, that way I don't have to work around some other things. Basically, it's just a test demo, and everything's going to be working on my custom game mode that we've seen us work on for quite some time. And by us, I mean me. Really, there is nobody on my team contributed to this piece of work except for me right now. So, there we go. Now, go ahead and shoot this. Now, this barricade has 1500 health, and that's quite a lot of damage. This one will take a while. But, well, actually, no, it has 2500 health, my bad. But at 1250, once you do 1250 damage, the top part is going to break down. this damage is going to scale based on our teammates. There we go. See how that first part broke down? Now that's half the objective. Now the objective is you have to destroy one side. You don't have to destroy both sides. You just need to make a way to the other side of this barricade. You can either just focus fire on one side, or you can break down both. That we have two ways of entry to the next part. But either way, you only have to break down. Well, you have to break down one side completely. So this is how it breaks down. Now this side on the left, I lower the health just for testing, for demonstration purposes. Now, if I fire it once, it's going to break this top half. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Boom. This is a particle effects, make some sound. Now, that sound was actually taken from an online sound library, and I edited it to make it fit within the game a little bit more. Now, if we do some more firing, this bottom part's going to break here. That breaks, and now that's the first objective. We broke through, we can now go to the other side. And this whole area is already designed out, it just needs to be basically dropped in and things like that. Now, it's pretty cool. Now, this other side is the same way. You can now move on. You can now move on to this side, or you can continue to destroy this objective. Takes a little bit, but there we go. Now, the reason why I have two sides here is once they break down this barricade, the assault team who are spawning in this cargo, in this train, are now going to be spawning in this forward position up around here, like behind this box here and on the other side of this thing. That way, they still have to push forward through their opening. That way, they don't spawn outside, and it's not like the barricade was for nothing. And the other team, they're going to be spawning in various positions out here, behind various buildings, or up on these second-story buildings, things like that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and restart this level. Alright, now I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the other side of this map, just to show you what it's like for the defending team. Now, these barricades are set up so that the defending team, if the barricade is completely built, they can go ahead and either walk up these planks or jump on these boxes. Basically, they have different ways up here, and they can either sit here and take cover. I've got to fix that. They can take cover within the barricade itself and start shooting people and get a defensive position. Now, this allows them to kind of snipe at people, but at the same time, other teams want to see this, and they're going to be trying to hit him, and they're in the exchange are going to be damaging the barricade they're in. So while, yes, I can snipe people off here, we're basically having them focus fire on you, which causes them to hit the barricade a lot and the recoil and stuff, and causes basically them to destroy the barricade quicker. So that's a trade-off. Risk and reward, give and take, it's all about that. So a good defensive position might end up costing you your defensive position. Now, things like this, you can get up here, and they're going to be shooting up you, so most of their fire is going to miss, because players have the tendency to aim too high rather than too low. Or, once in a while, you get a player who always aims at the ground, but my experience and all the playtesting I've done, players tend to aim too high. Because recoils of guns, they tend to recoil upwards, because that's how they kind of work. That adds to the up. So, when you're standing up here, players want to miss the barricade a lot. So while you're more exposed, you're bringing in less fire toward the barricade. So once again, it's all about risk and reward. So the other side is pretty much up the same way, slightly different, for variation. I want to texture some of this stuff differently, so it's a little bit more visually appealing. But yeah, you can get up here and stand right in the open. And because this part is not part of the barricade, it's a windmill, they're now not focusing on the barricades at all, but you. So while you put yourself at risk, you are basically getting them not focused on the barricades anymore. So risk and reward. Same thing with positions like this. Up here, you can get really a lot of shots off at the barricades, but you're going to get hit from all kinds of angles. Because, as I said before, when you're on a defending team, walk, wall. Defending team, once the top part is still intact, they can climb up on these things here, and they can go around and snipe you off and flank you. And when they're up here, they're going to be drawing fire from barricades, because players are going to be like, hey, that guy's up there, let's shoot him down. They usually tend to do that because players in odd places attract more attention than players who are in standard locations, because players are like, oh, how did he get up there? And he shouldn't be up there, he's in a good spot, let's take him out, things like that. Now, these blocks on the sides, they've been blocked out so that the player can't, do some weird jumping, get outside the map too. That's all been planned for. As you can see here, that could be used a little rework, but it's there for a reason. So, and in the meantime, the assault team can also take cover behind these things. And while these are on the sides and they're in the shadows, they're a lot less likely to be seen. But their cover isn't all that great. I mean, they can get shot through on the side of these tables. But they can also get flanked pretty easily over there. But they'll defend themselves from the top, and most likely people here won't see them as likely. So shadows, but less cover. So yeah. And there's also this lantern here placed conveniently, so the player hiding behind here can't get shot behind a guy standing there on the left or left or right side of that. Just so that spot up there isn't too powerful. I mean, you can still have access if you stand up, but if you're standing up, you kind of want them to have more exposure and things like that. So it's all about risk and reward. If you're standing up, you can see the guy behind you a lot easier because he's standing up, and yeah. So that's how that works. And there's a lot more things I can explain about what went into the design of this first part, but the last part I want to really talk about is the lighting. I don't know, there's not much lighting yet, but these lanterns might have a little bit of lighting and stuff like that. Especially this, I might light it so it can kind of glow. If this spot's too powerful, put a little light here so it can glow the player behind here, things like that. The lighting is set so that the sun is over here somewhere. I know the sky dome doesn't reflect this, but that's just a standard Unreal sky dome, which I'll swap out later. And it's pointing in this direction. In fact, that's the only Unreal thing besides Lincoln. You see here, it's pointing in this direction. That way, the light is always, the lit side of things is always moving forward. If you look back, you'll see things are in shadow. So that kind of, it's a guide. It's the biggest guide to the player that this is forward and that this way is backward. That way the assault team knows where to go and knows, well, they won't know where to go fully by just that, but they'll be drawn toward it. And once they're drawn toward it, they can look at their surroundings and know, oh, players are attacking me from over here and they're taking cover. We might destroy that. And also be different indicators and things like that, like such as this. It's a pretty big indicator that something's going on over there. So that's how all that's working. And I'm going to go ahead and see, once this top part's destroyed, the players lose the ability to climb up on these things, on these ledges here, on these awnings, because that spot's a little bit overpowered, I think. So once they lose that ability, they're now more forced to get out in the fray and really try to lock down and hold their defensive positions instead of trying to be cheap and flank them from both sides. This gives the assault team a little bit an easier of a time to assault, because the first part might take a while, but the second part, like, yes, it broke. Now they're really going to push forward and they really want to try to get through. So the defensive team is going to have to lock down and really defend. Gives the defenders more to think about, things like that. And the defenders will be more likely to just run out here to distract them from firing at the barricades. And that causes a lot more action out here, a lot more in your face, instead of just hanging back and having a little snipe fest. So that's how the design went in here. Notice that there are some of these sign shops are named the same. It's because I haven't made that many signs. But that's no big deal. That's all visual stuff. It's not gameplay stuff. So, and yeah, the defense team can also take position behind here. You'll see that these positions, they're built so that they don't get hit from the sides. These corners peeking out here, they only get fire on the front. Now, people are thinking, oh, you can just spawn camp the cargo containers. Well, if you're anywhere over here, the players, once they're at the station, they spawn all over the station. So there's no one particular place you can camp. This corner is actually pretty good. However, there's always going to be one or two corners that are pretty good, and those are spots that players know and they look out for, and they always check for leaving cover containers. So this guy, he has a lot of area to cover. Even though he's kind of well protected, he can easily get flanked by someone who exits this container and runs and shoots from the side. No big deal. Because he's looking over here, he's going to get flanked from all these players exiting these containers, and he's looking over here. One guy, only takes one guy to come over here and hit him in the back of the head. Same thing with the other side. The other side, there's no real position like that. Everything's pretty open. Now, you can get in these far corners here. Problem is, players won't be able to camp these corners and shoot down like this, or because players are literally jumping out of this thing, most players can't keep track or can't aim while compensating for internet lag and things like that, the trajectory of the player. And because the player movement is sporadic, that changes every time, so it's not that big of a deal. And the players jumping out of this, usually once or twice, they're going to expect players camping in corners, because in any online game people do that, so they're just going to know to check those corners, and it gives them a sense of, yeah, they're really trying to defend and push us back. And once they kill a player in a corner, they have to spawn on all the other sides, so once they're out here, they're most likely not going to come back unless the team sucks, and then of course it's just going to be hell for them. But there are things that are going to be not implemented yet, but there are things that are be here that will prevent corner campers and things like that too. So now I'll be all done in time. I don't want to give too much of my design away because I want to keep building this. Like, I want to add to the, oh, that's kind of cool, instead of just laying everything out at once. So that's my level. Designed for the most part completely by me, except for the objective idea belongs to Alex Murs. But this idea will probably transform into a combination of her full design and my full design, just because we have really cool designs. And untextured assets like this table and this train are to the credit to goes to Jessica Schultz. She also made this windmill, actually. So yeah, everything else I made, as you can tell by this bad texturing that I completely don't know. That is a barrel. Sorry, but yeah, everything's built with modular pieces, so I was able to crank this out in no time. 3 days. If you compare this to what my old design team already has in terms of design, and in terms of assets, and in terms of playability, you'll see that I'm much more farther along in 3 days than what it took them to do in 7 weeks. So I have that going. So, and the fact that I'm coding a lot of my own implementations and things like that, I'm gonna have a pretty powerful piece, I think, by the end of this. So thank you for watching. This is Michael Allar. Goodbye.